Here follows an extract from my book Artful Designs, available from Amazon. Chapter 4, Part 2. "That's very interesting, Scott, thank you," said Baskerville. "We'll certainly think on what you've just said. I think that's enough for now. If you can make sure that you give your statements and contact details to the sergeant who'll be along any moment now, then I think you can all go home. If you can all please specify where you were last night, along with any other information which you think might be helpful. I suspect that I'll be in touch with you again very soon. If you get tired of me popping up and asking seemingly arbitrary questions, you'll have to just be patient. It can't be helped. What matters is that we find and catch the culprit." Here Baskerville gave Theo a warning look. "In the meantime, you need to remember that everyone is innocent until proven otherwise, so please leave the detective work to me and my colleagues. I know it's a stressful time for you all, but you must try and go about your usual work." As Drew stood waiting his turn to make a statement, he quietly chatted with his brother-in-law. "What can I do, Benji? I'm sure that Scott isn't involved in any way, but I can see that it looks bad for him. Can you help? Please, if you can help in any way, I'd be eternally grateful. I feel implicated myself. I was the last person to handle that sketch, and it's only my say-so that I did indeed put it back. Scott could vouch for me, but I don't think that would count for much as things stand. Of course, if I was going to steal the sketch, I needn't have gone into the charade of a break-in. Even so, I don't like this at all. I wondered when the possibility that you're a suspect would dawn on you. I'm a little awkwardly placed here, knowing you as I do, but a little careful wrangling should clear my way through, and you know how good at that I am. I'll certainly do my very best to get involved, Drew. To begin with, I can at least keep tabs on what's afoot and keep you posted. In the meantime, I think you'd better take care of that young man. His poor mother could probably do with some reassurance too. I don't know, but it might be best if he stays with you for a while, lay low as it were. See what you think. Take him home and try and console his mother. She's bound to know by now. Word will have got around the flat. You know how fast gossip spreads. She'll be out of her mind with worry." Drew pumped Benji's hand energetically in token of his gratitude, and as soon as Baskerville had got what it was needed, he took Scott to his car to drive him home. "Do you think you'd better stay with us for a while, Scott?" asked Drew. "That's really kind of you, Drew, but no thank you. I'm better off at home." "Are you quite sure? I think you've kept your problems to yourself for long enough. I didn't know that you were in danger of a beating all this time. I can't believe you never told me." "What could I say, Drew? That's life at Cherry Hill. You get used to it. Don't forget that I was that bad guy not so very long ago, and I haven't forgotten how to look after myself. I could have fought it out with Brad and Leighton ages ago, but I was trying to leave all that behind me. I thought that dodging and ignoring them was a better way. I should have dealt with them once and for all then, and then we wouldn't be in this mess now. It's too late now, though." "Why don't you stay with us then?" "I'm not leaving my mum alone while they're crowing. I don't think they've sunk to bullying old ladies yet, but I'm not giving them the chance. Mum will be so frightened she won't dare leave the flat without me. If I'm there, they'll at least crow a bit quieter, especially if Finn is hiding away. Anyway, I won't let them run me out of my own home. I don't think that Finn quite understands what he's got himself into. He thinks he's brave, but he's mostly stupid. He may not have realised it yet, but he's stepped way out of his league, and he won't have a clue what's coming to him. He's way past Asbo's now. He won't know it until it hits him, stupid fool. You know your own mind best. However, you must promise to call me if you have any concerns, any time, day or night. And remember, Beth's brother is doing his best to help both of us, so we're in good hands." Baskerville was gathering together his notes and preparing to leave. "I think I've done as much as I can here. I'm going back to the station to see if I can gather some uniforms to scour the streets nearby. though I don't hold out much hope of finding anything. If it's mingled in with McDonald's wrappers in some rubbish bin, then I suspect that's the last of the epitome of British art history or whatever it is. I'll muster together as much manpower as I can, but I haven't enough to go on to warrant a full-scale search across the streets of Manchester. If it's tossed in some skip, then it's unlikely we'll find it. You know that. Do you really think that it was for this Finn character or someone from Scott's old gang? Asked James. They have to be our prime suspects, and I'm afraid that your brother-in-law's protégé is next on the list. Of course, you know that we can't rule out a myriad of other possibilities until we've gone over every detail, but you have to admit that it's a coincidence following yesterday's performance here. We both know that coincidences rarely happen in crime, though. It's usually the most obvious solution, isn't it? That's why the Met can afford to send a lower pay grade like me. There isn't much thinking likely in this case. The whodunit isn't really the teaser here. The where is it is a different ball game altogether. No doubt it'll surface if there's money involved. I'm sure you've got better things to be doing with your weekend, so I'll leave you to organise the search for the artwork and the ruffian, and then, no doubt, you can move on to happier things. I'm afraid that you may not be quite rid of me, though. I'm going to do my best to intrude on this case if I can. Is that okay with you? I couldn't be more happier at the prospect, although I'm not sure how long I'll be kept on this case. It's not my usual department, but we're so stretched for manpower that I'm the best they've got today. I'd be grateful for any help, but for today, if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get home as soon as I can. It's my wife's birthday and I'd promised to take her out tonight, unless you have other ideas. The inflection at the end of Baskerville's sentence showed an attempt at keenness, but he couldn't quite hide his hope for the rest of the day off. I hope you've got something special planned. It won't do to upset your wife. I had booked tickets for a pre-show meal and then we were going to see Wicked. Well, it's still your show, Baskerville. Don't change your plans on my account. I can't see that there's too much to do yet, unless you want to start chasing miscreants yourself. Certainly not. Those days are long gone, thank goodness. Well, I'll leave you to wine and dine your wife, and I'll see what I can square with our bosses. If you're that stretched at the Met, then I might even see if I can draft a sergeant I know into the mix. If there's anything to report before Monday, I'll be in touch. But keep your phone on silent tonight. Anything can wait for a few hours. I'll put myself as the contact for now, and then we'll renegotiate the workload at the start of next week. Stuttering his thanks, Baskerville headed back to the station. DCI James decided to return to his own home instead of his sister's. He'd booked the weekend off to be with his wife, but she'd been called away by a medical emergency with her mother and was staying away for a few days to care for her. A quiet house and time to process his thoughts was just what he needed. He'd clarify his thinking and then plan his strategy for the coming Monday. As he drove, he activated hands-free and made a quick call to Baskerville Station, redirecting relevant calls to himself for the weekend. And then he'd get sanction from their superiors one way or another on Monday morning. As he drove, questions and theories were already queuing up in his mind. A strong coffee, pen and paper would soon solve that problem. For the full book of Artful Designs, available in paperback or as an ebook, follow the link in the cards in the description box or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.